This can be different. Emerging trends in global trade, shipping, and cargo handling technologies work in our favor. A new administration in Washington and the vow of the President-elect to undertake an ambitious stimulus package with emphasis on infrastructure investment work in our favor. The commitment of our governor to invest in infrastructure works in our favor. In addition, port capacity and port security have become national security issues, and our Port Authority is the only American port announcing development of a new expanded facility. This works in our favor. So together with the Vice Chairman of the Port, Steve Williams, and on behalf of our board, I have a proposal that the Port Authority relocate its operations to the 55th Street site, working with Mayor Jackson, the county, state and federal government to seek fast-track regulatory approvals and do so as soon as possible. That the port seek additional sites along the river or elsewhere for its expanding operations so that it can grow our region's business and also commence the process of vacating its lakefront land as expeditiously as possible. That the port, with the city of Cleveland, engage the best urban planners in the world for redevelopment of our lakefront land with the goal of an iconic world-class result, rivaling Pittsburgh, among others. That the port, together with the mayor and the county commissioners, engage our regional and state leadership to seek a multi-billion dollar federal investment in the relocation of the port, the redevelopment of the lakefront, the riverfront, and the remaking of our city in its aging infrastructure. That we think big, very big, and that we persist until we succeed. The Port Authority's opportunity is best viewed as a component of a generational opportunity for all of us, the city of Cleveland, the region, and the state of Ohio. To realize on that potential requires a level of cooperation that is difficult in the best of times. We face the adversity of global competition, the fragmentation of government, shifting populations, and rapidly changing industry. But we have the opportunity to succeed again. We can each determine to make Cleveland and Ohio competitive in this revolution of markets and ideas. I was recently introduced to some words of Ralph Waldo Emerson. Last week, Governor Ted Strickland used these words to inspire and challenge an audience to embrace the diversity of the city and the world that we live in. I expect these words are often chosen to inspire engagement by those who have seen the old overtaken by the new in a period of rapid change when both old and new cry out for leadership from both. Emerson wrote, "If there is any period that one would desire to be born in, is it not the age of revolution, when the old and the new stand side by side and admit of being compared, when the energies of all men are searched by fear and by hope, when the historic glories of the old can be compensated by the rich possibilities of the new era. This time, like all times, is a very good one, if we even know what to do with it. This is the time. We know what to do with it. For Cleveland, for its new port, its new downtown, and rich possibilities for a new city. With wisdom, leadership, and resolve, it can be the reality that we, Clevelanders, dare to dream. Thank you.
Today at the City Club of Cleveland, we are listening to a special forum featuring the Michael Wager, Chairman of the Cleveland-Cuyahoga County Port Authority. We will return to our speaker in a minute for the traditional City Club questions. We encourage you to formulate questions for our speaker now and remind you that your questions should be brief and to the point. We welcome you to this City Club Special Forum. Our greetings to those who are present in this room, especially those who are guests. We hope you will join the City Club and become active in our ongoing civic dialogue. On Friday, December 5th, our regular forum will feature Dr. James Orbinski, former international president of Doctors Without Borders. If you wish to make reservations or order a CD or DVD of today's program, please call 1-888-223-6786 or 216-621-0082. We are pleased to welcome guests at a table hosted by the Cleveland-Cuyahoga County Port Authority, Squire, Sanders and Dempsey, and Thompson Hine. Thank you for joining us today. Now we would like to return to our speaker for our traditional City Club question and answer period. We welcome questions from everyone, including guests. Holding the microphones today are City Club Office Manager Catalina Quiones and Director of Development Jessica Leary Allen. First question, please.
Mr. Wager, the filling of land to create the solid part of the port takes a long time. I've been here and I've been a boater in this community for over 40 years, and I know how long the time is, how much time is required for the dredgings to settle. So tell me, what's the timeline on actually having a completed port?
You correctly observe that the creation of new land through the ordinary course of working with the Army Corps is a project of many years. The first confined disposal facility may not be available for use for up to 8 years. And we are working with the Army Corps as partners, but consistent with that partnership, if the community, if the federal government wanted to see an acceleration of land creation, so long as we could accommodate the Army Corps in the creation of additional confined disposal facilities, there are commercial, expensive, but commercial methods for accelerating the creation of land. But without that, it is an 8-year-plus project, with the project probably not being completed for in excess of 12 years.
In terms of some of the things that you want to achieve, are there some things the state would need to do legislatively to create the authorities or do some of the tasks that you want, so they're an active partner in some of the riverfront potentials?
Right. First, the state has been a very active partner with us, and all the things I described today have been discussed with both Governor Strickland and Lieutenant Governor Fisher, who is the head of our Department of Development. Secondly, we already have very broad statutory powers. Most of what we're attempting to accomplish would fall within current statutory powers. There may be some modest amendment of the existing statutes that would be necessary. I'll ultimately defer to our counsel, notwithstanding the fact I'm a lawyer, on these matters. But it's nothing which is a sea change from the statute that we currently operate under.
Michael, I don't want to put you on the spot, but there's a gentleman here in uniform, which I think he's from the Coast Guard. What is the plan for the Coast Guard facility, which I believe is a very important part of the lakefront right now? And would that move out to 55th? And maybe you guys talked about it at lunch, but share that with us.
Good question, and I'm out in front here a little bit from where my board is. We've not had any specific discussion about all the elements that would go on our new port. As those things evolve, certainly discussion with the Coast Guard is possible. There are no plans today to engage the Coast Guard in relocating its facilities to our new port land, but we are at the early stages of development, so I would not begin to forecast what it will look like when we finally take occupancy on that land.